Tonight we're here to talk about the all-new 2015 Chrysler 200. Hopefully you got a chance to take it for a spin here a little while ago. We will leave a couple for you, all-wheel drive versions. Just saying, might be good for the competition coming up. Anyway, it went on sale recently, so we're really happy about that. Also, the ad campaign started this past weekend, so we might have seen something on TV or in print for that too. So we really have high hopes for this vehicle. Very important vehicle for us, and we think it's going to do really well. And we have a couple people in from Michigan to tell you a little bit more about it. JT Delcamp is here. He is Chrysler 200 brand manager. And also Kathy Graham, she's product PR manager, CNG7 vehicles. Everyone knows Kathy. So I'm going to turn it over to Kathy, and she's going to kick it off.
And I just want to thank the ever lovely Lisa Barrow. When I grow up, I want to be like Lisa. So she is truly an asset for our company. So I'm lucky to work with her. Before we get started on the car, you guys may have seen last week during sales, Chrysler is really doing well. We're really pleased that the hard work is paying off. It was our 50th consecutive month of year-over-year sales, and the Jeep brand hit its best sales ever in history. We had more than 70,000 units sold in the US for the first time, and more than 100,000 units sold worldwide for the first time. So we're really pleased. 3 of the 5 vehicles set all-time sales records for the brand in May. It was Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Compass set all-time sales records. And then Patriot set a record for May for all time. So things are going really well there, so we're very pleased with that. And those 50 consecutive months of year-over-year sales come with really when we didn't have a credible player in the largest segment in the industry, which is the mid-size sedan segment. So we're really excited to be here today to talk to you about the new 200, because we really feel that's a super competitive segment. It's more than 2.3 million sales a year, and quite honestly, everybody in the segment has a good vehicle. There's no bad cars in that segment at all. And so when the team started to redo the 200 from the ground up, everything's new on this vehicle. They really looked at bringing our A game and coming in with a serious competitor. And we think that this has the right, attributes and features and ride and handling, and most of all, price and value, that customers will take a look at it. And it really is kind of the face of where the Chrysler brand is going in the future. On May 6th, Mr. Marchione had an investor day where he laid out our 5-year plan. And at that time, the definition of the brands became more clearer. So Dodge is now more performance oriented, and Chrysler is going to be the mass market brand. So this new 200 really is the first offering from Chrysler with their new mission and what you can expect going forward for that. So I'm just going to give you some of the real quick highlights, and then JT is going to go into more detail of the car. Some things that we have that we're really proud of that you don't see on other vehicles in this segment is we're the only midsize sedan with a 9-speed transmission that's standard across all models. Some people ask why 9 speeds. Really, it's because you have a gear there whenever you need it, but it lets it run at much lower RPM and helps on the fuel economy. So we went from 31 miles a gallon highway with a 4-cylinder engine on the 2014 model to 36 miles a gallon with this. So that's a 5 mile a gallon increase with the 4-cylinder engine. And the V6 went from 29 to 32, so we increased 3 miles a gallon on our highway fuel economy for that. It also has fully electronic shifting with a rotary E-dial, and that lets us do a couple of things. It gives us a great interior center console with the most storage space in the class that's really cool and innovative, but it also allows a lot of the safety features to function. So this car has safety features, and JT will go into it more, that really you see on luxury vehicles that are thousands of dollars more. The adaptive cruise control is full stop and go. The forward collision warning will bring it to a full stop at low speeds. And the lane departure warning not only gives you a warning in the instrument cluster and then a haptic sense on the steering wheel, if the driver doesn't respond, it'll actually guide the car back in the lane. So we're really proud that there's some features that typically were only available in luxury vehicles that now are affordable for the mass market customer. So that's kind of what comes back to the Chrysler brand being the mass market brand now, is they want to develop really cars with premium features for hardworking, average, everyday people that they can afford. So the value equation is a big deal of what we've got here in the new 200, and we really think it's got world-class craftsmanship that can compete with anybody in the market. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to JT.
Thanks for having me. Not sure why I came. I think she just stole all my thunder. So I'm JT. I'm gonna sit down. Yeah. So like Kathy said, you know, Chrysler brand, we're on a roll. We're doing very well. 300 had a good month. Town and Country had a really good month as well. 200 was down, really only because production is down. Stock is down. We only had roughly about 4,000 units on the ground to start the month, and now we're down to right around 3,000. We started shipping these out at the end of May, so they are on the ground, they are on dealer lots now, and more are coming along the way. So production is starting to ramp up, the shipping is ramping up. So they're here, they're at the dealers. Customers are buying them. We've had some sales so far. I think roughly over 500 right now, but you know, they're climbing. But early stages of production. But really, I want to focus on the car a little bit more and focus on, you know, how we got to this point. I had the question earlier of, you know, why build an all-new car? What made you do that? And it's like Kathleen said, it's a segment. Segment's the largest. It's the most competitive. And Mr. Mascheroni knew that. He saw that and said, okay, we need a new car. We need a car to compete there. We need a car that's going to bring the Chrysler brand and Chrysler Group as a whole up and sell more cars. So to do that, though, we needed a plant to be able to build this car. And we took the Sterling Heights plant that was making the old Sebring and the new 200 and really put a ton of money into that. We put over $1 billion into that plant to make it what it is today. And that plant has a brand new 1 million square foot body shop with over 1,000 robots in the plant building this car every single day. It's absolutely amazing, and if you see pictures online, it just does not do it justice. It's you walk in the place and you just get lost. It's really, really cool. The employees there have a lot of pride in what they do. And actually this weekend I met one of the pipe fitters there, and was at a family birthday party, and you know, get to talking, what are you doing, what do you do? And he's like, well, I work at Chrysler. And I said, oh, that's cool, what do you do? And he says, well, I work at the new, you know, the Sterling Heights assembly plant, the new body shop. And I'm like, oh, kind of neat, I know that quite a bit. I've been there quite a lot of times. And so he had a lot of pride, he had a lot of really cool stories about the co-workers he works with and how they've all come together and how, you know, they're just really, really proud of this new car and really proud of the new body shop. So very excited to hear that from somebody there. Then we go on to the paint shop, and it's almost 1 million square feet, all new, completely from the ground up new. Some really cool technology in there. We have a rotisserie carrier that basically takes the frame, flips it upside down, seals the bottom of the frame and the chassis with sealant. That way, obviously, you seal it from underneath and things drip down. You seal it from the top and it will actually soak in. Then we have laser guides that go around and make sure that everything's in the right spot. We have a new powder coat primer on there, so it's no longer a liquid. It's a primer that's a powder, and it's stronger, it's more durable, more chip, scratch resistant. And then what that's also nice for is we didn't just look at what's great in building the car, what works with the environment too. So that powder, we're able to reuse 97% of the powder. So anything that falls to the ground, it gets picked back up, cleaned up a little bit, and then reused in the car. And so good for the environment. Something else that's good for the environment there is a lot of times in you know, body shops and paint shops, they have chains that pull the cars around, and there's a chain that runs around the whole thing, and it's oily, it's greasy, it's loud, you know, it can be dangerous. In the new paint shop, we've got these little wheels that spin, so as the carrier comes by, the wheel will start up and kind of scoot that carrier along, and then it shuts off. And then another one will start and pull it along the rest of, you know, the next spot. It's quieter, it's more efficient. This car is actually 67% less, uses less energy to build than the outgoing one. So really thinking about the environment there with this new car. Something else with the paint shop, we've got four paint lines. 3 of them will run at once, the other one will be cleaned, and then they'll flip-flop and redo that, so we're always having a clean environment there. At the end of the quality tunnel, it's about a football field length long, bunch of lights. Right at the front of that there's a sensor there that actually senses what color a car is going through there, and it will adjust those lights as it goes down to pick out the best lighting, to pick out the imperfections in the paint, so we make sure that every car coming through there is flawless. So some neat things. That's the first in North America of that. It's called a UE lighting system, but first in North America to use that. So we're really excited about that. And then obviously the final trim line has been revamped as well. But what we're doing basically is just kicking out a world-class car, and all the investment that was put in there was definitely needed, and you know, it's a great, great facility to build this car. So let's talk about the car now. 4 models, and I talked to a lot of you earlier today about this, so some of it's kind of a refresher, but 4 models. We've got an LX, a Limited, an S, and a C. And the 4 models is easy. We did that for a reason. It's easy for the dealers to order. It's easier for the customers to understand what's going on with it. Something else that's nice, Kathy talked about the 9-speed. It's standard across the board, so you can't get a 9-speed, a 6-speed, a manual, a CVT, or whatever. It's a 9-speed across the board, very easy to understand. 2.4 liter, standard across the board. And it's our all-new 2.4. It's a multi-air 2 Tiger Shark. Produces 184 horsepower and 173 foot-pounds of torque. But it's a brand new engine. Don't get it confused with the old 200 with the old 2.4. Same displacement, but brand new engine. Then, if you want a little bit more excitement, a little bit more fun, we've got the 3.6 liter Pentastar. That's available on the 200S and the 200C. It offers 295 horsepower, which is the best in class. It offers 263 foot-pounds of torque, which is a very good torque number for the car. Really fun. What I like to talk about is that it's only $1,950 option. So for $1,950, you get 111 horsepower and a whole hell of a lot more fun to drive than 184. And then what's nice about it being a standalone option too, a lot of the competitors package their premium engines with other things. So that engine could then cost $3,000 or $3,500 or $4,000 by the time you add on, or they make you add on, you know, leather or premium sound or whatever else it may be. So for $1,950, it's a good option. And then on the S&C, if you want to take it one step further, something that I'm sure you guys would love here in the Northeast is the all-wheel drive system. And Kathy mentioned a little bit about it earlier, but it's basically the most technically advanced all-wheel drive system in its class. Now the other ones that offer it are Subaru and Fusion in the mid-size segment, but ours is a fully disconnecting rear differential. It also disconnects at the power takeoff unit. So what that means to you and what the benefit is to the customer is that when you're driving around town, normal day like today, it will operate in front-wheel drive. Saves you fuel economy, obviously. That's the #1 thing. When it needs it, wheels start slipping, windshield wipers go on, it drops below 37 degrees, it will shift into all-wheel drive automatically, seamlessly. You won't feel it, you won't hear it, you won't do anything. So it provides that customer a little bit more safety when they need it. And what we want to really kind of reference a little bit more is, yes, it's a front-wheel drive. It gives you all-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive does pretty good. It will take up 95% of your driving conditions in front-wheel drive all year round. But the all-wheel drive is something nice that it will provide the performance too. So a day like today, you're out on some nice country roads, some twisty roads. It's got yaw sensors throughout the car that will basically sense any G's, any lateral G's, any wheel slippage, anything that senses, hey, you know what, let's kick it into all-wheel drive and provide that customer a little bit more performance. When it does that, it's 60% of the torque in the front, 40% in the rear. If you shift it into S mode, and I talked a little bit about that with some of the guys out there, you turn the rotary dial to D, you push it down and turn it to the S mode. That will kick in that all-wheel drive 100% of the time. And then that also transfers 60% of the torque to the rear, 40% to the front. So it definitely gives you a little bit more sporty driving dynamic. It makes it feel a little bit more rear biased. Coming in and out of corners, it really helps you out to give that performance feel to the car. So no longer is it just safety, it's got the performance that it needs as well. So base price on the 200LX is $21,700. Gives you some great standard features like we talked about, the 9-speed transmission. You've got standard keyless enter and go, which is a great feature for customers, keeping the key in your pocket, get in, push the button to start it, and you're off and running. You step up to the limited model. It's a 23.255, 17-inch alloy wheels. You get a touchscreen radio with the Bluetooth. You get a headlamp light pipe. You get a little bit more chrome in the front and the rear. Great package. That's going to be our volume vehicle. Matches right with the competitors at their price points and their content in that car. And then we do kind of a Y strategy. We go to the 200S or the 200C, and which one you want to go to, what type of customer you are. The 200S, a little bit sportier. We've got a blue one out there. All the exterior chrome, you'll notice right away, goes away. It goes to a gloss black. So gloss black around the window opening, gloss black in the upper grille and the lower grille. And this gives it a little bit sportier, more aggressive look, but it's really the underneath that really counts on that car. Sport suspension comes standard on that car. The paddle shifters come standard on that car. Sport bolstered leather seats with the cloth inserts come standard on that car. So more all around, it's a sport car, and we're seeing this more in the mid-size segment. The customers, the manufacturers are coming out with a sportier car. So Sonata started with an SC. Camry's got their SC, which actually is their volume leader right now. So the customers in this segment want, they need that mid-size car, that 4-door car, to get around, get them from point A to point B, but some of them are starting to want a little bit more sporty feel. So we took that to the next level by offering all that and all that standard on the 200S. And that's $24,495 starting price on that. But then, if you want to go maybe a little bit more premium, a little bit more luxury side, you go to our 200C. All that chrome comes back on the outside, standard leather, standard heated seats, standard backup camera, standard remote start. So a little bit more creature comforts for those people that want, kind of a nicer look. A little bit more chrome, a little bit more premium of the look. So depending on which way you want to go, sport or C. We talked a little bit about the safety features. We've got the most advanced safety features in the class, and Kathy mentioned a few of those things. But the lane departure warning with the lane keep assist that keeps you in the lane if needed. It beeps at you. It turns the wheel, says, "Hey dummy, put your hand back on the wheel and wake up." Active cruise control with full stop. So you're driving down the road, and active cruise control is really a cool feature. But a lot of times it shuts off at about 20, and then you have to start driving again. The full stop will actually bring you to a complete stop, and then get you going again when you're ready to go. So you're in heavy traffic, and it will keep you going. The forward collision warning plus. So Kathy mentioned a little bit that it will bring you at low speeds under. So at under 20 miles per hour, if somebody in front of you slams on their brakes and the car senses that and doesn't see you doing anything, it will apply full brakes and get you to a stop and hopefully avoid that accident. Above 20 miles per hour, it will apply the brakes, but legally we cannot allow it to apply the full force. So if at all you do touch that brake over 20 miles per hour, then it will kick in and apply those full brakes if needed to come to a stop. So really a cool feature for there. Something else that's neat that I like to talk about that's not, it doesn't seem very cool, but it's the electronic park brake. And a lot of people have that, but we have what's called Safe Hold on there, and it's a class exclusive. So it will hold you at a hill, right, and you can take off and get going again. But if you ever pull up to your driveway, to your garage, to a shopping mall, parking spot, whatever, and you leave it and drive and go to get out of the car, and a lot of people do that. Undo your seatbelt, get out, it's still in drive. The Safe Hold feature will clasp the brakes and will hold that car so it doesn't go through your garage door. It doesn't hit the lady in front of you with the shopping cart. Really kind of a neat feature on the car that you don't ever think about, and it happens all the time. People leaving to drive.
What sets that off? Is it the combo of the seatbelt and the door, or is it just the seatbelt?
There's sensors in there. Yeah, it's the seatbelt. I think is definitely one. I believe there's a
seatbelt and the door opening.
Door opener. Yeah. So
does it put it into park?
No, it doesn't put it in park. It locks up the brakes. Yeah, locks up the brakes.
For it's just the parking brake.
The parking brake. Yeah, the electronic brake. Yep. So it's enough force to where the car won't go. And I've actually seen it in motion. we have a training tour going on right now with all of our dealers, and we're hitting like 25 cities across the country. And one of the cool things we did for the training tour is we hired the Mythbuster guys, and they did a really cool video on this, and that was one of the myths that they bust. They saw that, I can't remember, Adam or Jerry? Jamie, that's it. Literally like left it in drive and like jumped out of the car as it's going, and it locked up and it stopped. And so it was really cool. That's so that's in the video. And I won't tell you some of the other stuff in there because it's not.
So they couldn't bust it.
They busted the myth. Yeah, they busted the myth that if you leave a car and drive, it will keep going. What else we have? Parallel and perpendicular park assist. So obviously parallel's been around a while. I think Fusion has it, but we're the only ones that has the perpendicular as well. So for those that can't park themselves, we'll do it for you. More safety. We have. Seems like I'm forgetting one safety. Yeah, safety. What else do we have? So we have a premium group. This one's featured with the premium group. It offers a premium leather with a nice cool piping around the outside of it. Heated, also ventilated seats in there. Real wood on the inside. This one has it, and you can see it. It's actually real open pore walnut wood. My favorite feature of that is you can actually see the sides of it and see the actual layers of the wood. I think that's really neat. Bronze chrome accents on the inside of the car. Two-tone heated leather steering wheel is available there, and memory comes with that package as well. We offer the 8.4-inch nav screen. That's the largest in its class. That comes with a 10-speaker, 506-watt Alpine sound system. We offer, there's some questions on sunroofs earlier. You can get a single-pane sunroof on our limited model. And then the S or the C, you can get a dual-pane sunroof on those as well. The S, you can get a premium leather seat in there as well. It's just now, actually now the dealers can't order it yet. It's a late availability item. They'll start ordering them next month. That's a full leather seat with ventilated seats, a power passenger seat as well. That's in the S model. S mode. I talked a little bit about that earlier with the all-wheel drive and how it locks in the all-wheel drive 100% of the time. But what it also does is stiffen up the steering. It also, your throttle response is a little quicker. It holds the gears out a little bit longer. Just obviously gives you that more performance feel of the car. And that comes standard in the 200S or when you get the 200C with the V6. Trunk size, it's a good size trunk, 16 cubic feet trunk. I know a couple of you looked at it earlier. Rear seat, we've got better headroom than the Altima, better legroom than the Altima, better headroom than the Accord. So we're right in there in rear seat volume. The front seats, we've got the most shoulder space in its class. Kathy talked about the most interior storage space in its class. Sliding cup holders, if you guys haven't looked at that, check that out. You pinch the little knob and you can slide the cup holder back. Below there is a media center. So it houses a USB and aux port, 15 or 12 volt outlet there. Kind of nice. Also that has a hole that runs down into that center pass-through down there. So you can route your cables down there to charge your iPad, charge your phone, and keep the cables kind of out of the way. Really nice feature there as well. So I think that's it. Any questions?
So that parking brake feature, have you figured out whether or not that happens more frequently now that people have a key in the pocket and they haven't actually gone through the process of shutting the car off? Is it something that's more
I don't know.
now than it used to be?
I have no idea if it's now, more now than later.
Research group if they've done anything on it?
It'd just be interesting to know.
I'll bet you they have a lot more now.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure if they've done research on that or not.
Yeah.
The car is running, but
I never did it before until I got the thing in the pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's a good thing we can ask.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah, I'll do my own stuff. It'd be good to know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Interesting kind of thing I'm trying to balance off in my head. There seems like there may be some inevitable comparisons to the Dodge Dart.
Seems like what?
There might be some inevitable comparisons to the Dodge Dart.
Yep.
Even though the Dart technically was in a compact, it was nearly a mid-sized car.
Right.
But trying to placing that in the sense that you know, where Dodge is kind of moving towards the performance side of things, this almost looks like seems like the performance Dart. Whereas this is, you know, as far as in the mass market, I mean, I understand the mid-size connection that you're making there.
Right.
But, I mean, how do you feel it's going to, I mean, or how do you avoid those comparisons to the Dart?
I don't, you know.
I'll steal that because I do PR for the Dart too, where JT just handles the 200. Honestly, the Dart, it is about 1.5 inches to 2 inches smaller, and it's 1 inch less wide than this car is. But the whole chassis between Dart, Cherokee, and 200, only about 40% of it is truly shared across all 3 platforms, and it's basically the engine box. The cool thing about the platform it sits on, it's a compact US-wide, it's modular. So you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, it can be a car, it can be an SUV, it can be a CUV. So all 3 cars share about 40% mainly around the engine block, but from there it's kind of customized for each vehicle usage. The Dart, you only have the 4-cylinder engines. There's 3 different ones. It's got a 6-speed transmission or a DDCT or a manual for that. Kind of different customer. They top out at about $26,000 for the Dart. It start at right around $16,000, where this is kind of your next step up both in size, price, and amenities. Not quite as many features are offered as it is on the 200. So even though, because obviously both cars were conceived when both Dodge and Chrysler had compacts and mid-size vehicles. But now with Dodge's direction, based on what we heard on May 6th, you'll see that compact car orienting only towards the performance side versus the mass market compact car. Where Chrysler, it's definitely targeted at a mass market audience, but because the segment is seeing a growth in the sport version of the mass market cars, that's why there's an S model with it for that. It's such a huge market with 2.3 million sales a year. You kind of get everybody. I like to use the correlation of my family because I have 2 boys that are in their early 20s that, you know, first nice car, the S model definitely appeals to them. But my mom is in her late 70s. They want to downsize. Her depth perception may not be as great as it used to be, and the 300 isn't a great car for her right now. So, you know, it's perfect because the C, she can get all the nice amenities that she's really earned over her lifetime, but I don't have to worry about her whacking the front end off when she tries to park. So, you know, that's kind of where the Chrysler falls into. And in future iterations of Dodge, when they redo the Dart, you're going to see that be much more performance skewed versus the mass market Toyota, Honda compact car buyer that it started out its life as. So hopefully that answers your question. Okay.
So one thing I'll add to that, as far as like Kathy said, the platform shares, you know, 40% with Dart, with Cherokee, whatever. But you know, we've lengthened it and widened it for this car. But on the rear cradle that houses all the suspension and everything on the Dart, this has an isolated rear cradle. And what that means is that rear cradle attaches to the car, and there's bushings in between it. That just helps out with NVH with this car. The Dart doesn't have that, but obviously that's, you know, a little bit more expensive a car. We're able to do that with this car. So.
You have crash test rating?
Not yet. Hopefully soon. Not yet. Yeah. We're hoping for some.
I think we're scheduled for testing, but I don't remember if it's June or July. I ran into Christmas.
Right, it's soon. It's within the next couple months, yeah.
Who gets to drive it into the barrier? Which one?
Not me.
JT, how much does this car weigh?
I believe it's 3473 curb weight.
Wow, that's good. I was going to say in the press kit, the numbers are there.
The numbers what?
The numbers are on the jump drive,
Oh.
but that's good.
That's
You're
a
right.
front-wheel drive 4-cylinder, right?
Yeah. It's around 38, I think, all-wheel drive. Yeah, with the V6. Yeah, yeah. And someone else I want to touch on price points as well. Someone commented to me out there that the 200S out there that we have is $33,000. Wow, it seems like it's a lot of money, but if you take it kind of and boil it down to what you get for that $33,000, you do get a lot. The 9-speed transmission, you get 295 horsepower, you get paddle shifters, you get sports suspension, you get that really cool all-wheel drive system that's in the car, you get navigation, you get the 10-speaker sound system. So you get a lot of money for that car that if you were to get that in any other car, it'd be like 42. So there's a lot for that car. It seems like a lot of money, but mid-sized cars, Fusions sell up to $39,000, and they do it a lot. Honda Accord has a touring model that starts at 34. Titanium Fusion starts at 33. So it seems like it's a lot. From where we were going with our old 200, we were selling them a little bit lower. We didn't really sell anything above. We didn't have anything above 28 grand. But there's a lot of the market that sells up there, and we never did before, and now we do. So it's a whole thing that whole new part of the market we're going to get.
Which trim do you think is going to move the most?
Our Limited. Yeah, our Limited is where, that's where the competitors sell their trim. That's where the competitors sell their volume car. It's a 4-cylinder, yep. And the market itself is probably 85% 4-cylinder. It's people buy these cars to get from point A to point B. And they sell a lot of the 4-cylinders. Our 4-cylinder is a really good one with that 9-speed transmission. Gives you some really good performance, 36 miles per gallon. It's gonna do well.
Is the all-wheel drive only with the V6?
It is, yeah. Yep, only V6.
Is there going to be a convertible for the ground plate?
Not at this time, but something back there.
Honestly, for the convertible reason, is developing the all-new car. To develop an all-new convertible is expensive, and convertible sales are so small now. We wanted to put all the dollars in making the best mid-size sedan with the heart of the market.
The all-wheel drive availability only with the V6 and only in the two top?
Yeah, 200S and 200C. Yeah. At this time, I mean, Fusion's top of the line. Their all-wheel drive starts at 33 or 34,000. So we offer actually an all-wheel drive. You can get one for under 30. So it's about 3,700 less than where a Fusion starts with their all-wheel drive.
Did I understand that you said also that the all-wheel drive is temperature sensitive?
It is. Yeah, there's quite a few trigger points that trigger the all-wheel drive to kick in, and one of them is being 37 degrees or less. So under 37 degrees, it will kick in the all-wheel drive.
There's also a humidity sensor that a threshold, if it senses too much humidity or the wipers go on, that will kick it in too.
There's a whole bunch of different sensors in there to kick it in, and temperature is one of those. And grade, above 11% grade, it kicks it in as well.
It's either 37 or humidity.
yeah. You either one or the other. You'll have a lot of all-wheel drive.
But if you have both,
Is that it? There's no hard ones.
Oh, you should have never said that.